Hi friends! Welcome to the next installment of the Cat Lab. It's nice to have you with me today. So, as you may have recalled, I did a segment recently, it was a short science video, about what would happen if you dropped two water bottles, one half filled with water and one empty. Most people said that the one that was filled with water was going to drop first, which in theory makes sense, right? A heavier object should fall faster than a lighter object, right? Well, you might have been surprised when you saw the outcome. Twist! Both of them fell at the same time. So, if you're wondering why that happened, let's figure that out. So, come with me and let's talk about falling objects. Surprise, we're not actually going anywhere. What we are going to do though is have a really fast session about history. Long time ago, there was a guy named Aristotle. Aristotle thought that acceleration is proportional to weight, which means that a heavier object will fall faster than a lighter object. This is Aristotle over here. Then Galileo comes on the scene, years and years later. So Aristotle's all like, objects that are heavier are gonna fall faster. And Galileo's like, did anybody ever test this out? And Aristotle's like, who was dead, is like, no, because that's what I think and so I'm right. And Galileo's over here like, we should test that out. So Galileo does. There's a famous experiment with a lot of controversy about if it happened or not. But basically what it is that Galileo went to the top of the Leaning Tower of Pisa and dropped two different objects of different weights off of the top of it. And they landed at the bottom at the same time. So whether or not this actually happened or not, the idea behind what Galileo was saying is that in the absence of air resistance, two objects will hit the ground at the same time, independent of their mass. Or in other words, meaning it doesn't matter how heavy they are. So one thing that I did want to test is Aristotle's theory about acceleration being proportional to weight. So to do that, I have a jar of peanut butter and a cork. Peanut butter obviously is heavier than the cork. So if I were to drop both of these from the same height, you would expect, according to Aristotle's theory, that the peanut butter jar would go faster than the cork, making the string go taut. So let's try this out. You ready? 1, 2, 3. Nope. Maybe I just didn't drop them high enough though? Let's find out. Not sure how much you could see from the video. I'm going to try to make that in slow motion. So if it was in slow motion, go cat. If it wasn't, I tried. That just goes to show how important it is to back up your theories with facts. It wasn't that hard. You could do that with anything. So if down the road you end up taking a really advanced physics class or you start to look into this a little bit more, you're going to realize that there are more forces and factors to consider when you're looking into this. But for the cat labs right now, we are taking this on a very elementary level, and we're working on the assumption here that when you're dropping an object, if it's in free fall, that the only force acting on it is gravity, and if it's not in free fall, that you've got gravity and then you have air resistance. So again, there are other things to consider if you're taking this on a much higher level, but this is what we're looking at right now. This is what we are dealing with. So let's see what happens when you talk about air resistance.